Hey, what's up everybody, BDF 44 coming at you with another video. I am proud of LeBron James, and I'm going to tell you guys why. Because I just saw an Instagram post that Carrie Champion posted on her platform that showed an excerpt from his press conference after the win against, who did we just play? My mind's gone blank, it's early in the morning, but whoever we just played and beat, he was able to stand up and speak from his point of view on something that mattered in regards to his people. In a time where we've been calling him out for not speaking from behind the curtain, in a time where we've been calling out other athletes. And for me, I'm going to tell you guys the truth. As I always do, I've been real hard on LeBron James on the court. And I've been dealing with my opinion with him off the court about how he's handled the Kyrie situation specifically. Now, the Kanye situation was a little different, and I always try my best to separate Kyrie and Kanye in regards to how I'm viewing them, even though they're going through similar stuff, even though I have them both in prayer daily and all this other stuff that I tell you guys about all the time. I do not look at them the same way in this situation, and I don't think people who are trying to support one necessarily have to approach it the same way in supporting the other, because Kanye's going about things a very different way. But I will say I wasn't fond of how that had to play out for Ye in regards to going on More Than an Athlete and then the show not being posted, or rather aired. And then from there, him going on Drink Champs and then seeing what it is that he actually wanted to speak about. And then feeling disappointed that LeBron James didn't give him an opportunity to speak on it. Not to say that it was ultimately LeBron's call or wasn't, I don't know, but it's More Than an Athlete, it's LeBron's thing. And my thing was like, I'm cool with that. And I said that to you guys too. I'm like, I'm cool with that, because if I was LeBron James, the way Kanye was moving, and this was before the Drink Champs episode, so we didn't know what he had said or what he was on. So he probably went on More Than an Athlete and probably said some things that just made, LeBron and his team uncomfortable in regards to their business practices and everything that they had going on. And this is before the backlash. This is before Hebrews to Negroes. This is before all that has come about in regards to the backlash. So I don't blame Bron for not having hindsight as to say, this conversation and all of that, maybe we should try to approach that particular situation differently. So the Kanye thing, I didn't love it, but I don't know that I would have been able to do anything differently if I was in this position. So I let that completely slide. And I just said, you know what? It is what it is. I wish it could have gone differently. I don't know that it could have. But the Kyrie situation, that was where LeBron really, I think, let himself down. Forget me. Forget us. I don't think he was pleased with how that played out. They asked him a question. He gave them the answer that he's supposed to give them based on how to keep everything balanced and stable. You know what I mean? The rules of the game in regards to the corporate game. You can't say certain things. You can't back certain things. You can't back certain people who are backing certain things. So he was doing what he was supposed to do if you don't know that there's a shift coming, right? And my thing was, I just wanted Bron to understand that shift was coming. And maybe he just wasn't listening to the conversations. Maybe he wasn't a part of those conversations. But I think he made a mistake within his own self. With the things that we hold ourselves accountable for, the things that we look in the mirror and not happy with ourselves, I think he messed up with himself. And I think we've been seeing him fighting that on our court for 3 weeks. Ever since that Kyrie thing came out and he said what he said in the press conference, I felt like he had gotten some backlash from the black community. I think he started seeing the shift that I'm referring to in regards to people saying, our opinion matters in regards to this conversation. We're ready to hold those accountable behind the curtain. We want to see the hate words redefined. We want to see our people get a chance to speak. We want to know that people who are being censored aren't being censored for the wrong reasons. And all of that stuff wasn't necessarily in everyone's mind about a month ago. But now that we're here, people have to kind of catch up to the times, and I wanted to see LeBron James do that, because I want to see that LeBron James understands his responsibility to himself in regards to your energy, I don't even know how to word this. I don't even know if what I'm saying actually is the way it is, but I'm just going by my own way of living. When I am doing things the wrong way within my own self, when I've messed up with me, so to speak, and now I gotta look in the mirror and know I messed up, I tend to not be productive as much. For me, I learned the formula is I gotta live right in the dark to my own standards, or I'm gonna mess up good stuff in my own life. It's just what I've learned after 38 years of life. And I don't know that what I'm seeing there isn't the same thing in him. He might have did something that he didn't appreciate in regards to himself, and now he sees himself in the mirror, and he's also too having negative energy toward himself because, see, you should have said something, you should have said, and that kind of stuff. It can really bring about the worst in things when you're dealing with others. And when I was referring to, if those who follow my every word, I've probably said this a couple times, and I was referring to LeBron James getting his spirit right and working out his energy and doing what he needs to do to get right. This is what I was referring to. Now, I'm not saying he needs to get on stage and put on a black power hat or say, I'm a Hebrew or anything like that. That's not what I'm saying. It's best from within his mouth. He can't say that, and that's not what's best for him or us at all. He needs to stay balanced as an example for how black people are supposed to be when they have power. You understand what I'm saying? You can't just jump out on a limb. You can't. And he does this sometimes. Speak on stuff that maybe he hasn't done enough homework on to where he can find himself saying the best thing for himself in regards to the situation, whatever it may be. But he speaks from his heart, just like I try to do. So when I think his heart is pointed in the wrong direction in terms of protecting his interests and not necessarily speaking out for things that he knows he should so that he can look in the mirror and be proud of himself, that's when I start realizing that not only is he probably punishing himself, but he's also dealing with the reverberation of how that looks to his team and his teammates. And I think some of the chemistry in the team started going left because his confidence started going left and they started feeling that. I think it started going left when his focus started going left and he stopped believing in the team. And I truly believe, and I always say this about Bron, I always believe that he is such an incredibly gifted and great and powerful entity in the NBA that he can position himself to be the solution for whatever problem, whether it be on the court or off. And what I mean by off is the power and the leverage that he has. If he's wielding it properly, he can help organizations fix their problems instead of asking them to hurt their problems. He can help fix them. You have the leverage to make it so that trades lean in the favor of the team that you're on. But I think he's approaching things the wrong way, and because he's angled a certain way and he wants certain things, I don't think he's playing chess and check. I don't think he's playing chess as it pertains to helping put together his team. And I think part of the reason is because he's punishing himself. And so as I dig too deep into someone else's psyche and all of that stuff, I realize it's just entertainment purposes. You know what I'm saying? None of this stuff is real, but it's what I'm sensing. So I just give it to you raw. And that's what I'm sensing. I think the guy, subconsciously possibly, was really kicking his own butt for not coming to the defense of Kyrie Irving and not maybe going out on a limb to speak up for what it is he truly believes in regards to himself and his own people. I tell you the truth, man. And the people behind the curtain need to understand this. I don't speak for every black person, so I don't know every black person. I only know myself and the people I love. But what I can say is, upholding what matters most to you, even if it's something that matters to me, if it matters most to you, then there's probably something else that matters something more to me. And when I don't have the right to say that, or I don't have the right to position myself to where that can be seen for whatever level it is within myself, then it's going to leave some disconnect between myself and myself, because you're standing in the way of what it is that's true to me. And that's what I think LeBron James and so many other guys that are kind of behind the curtain are going to naturally find themselves running into. I think Stephen A has found himself running into that this year. I think LeBron James found himself running into that these last couple weeks. And I think a few others may be running into that too. Even if they're aligned with the people behind the curtain, so to speak, even if they don't have a problem with them running things a certain way, once you have it so that I can't speak my natural point of view, even if my natural point of view would be to support you, once you disarm me of having the right to do that, then it becomes a situation where I, from behind your curtain, have to weigh how much that means to me. And if I'm wired a certain way, it might be the difference between me being my best self and not. And it's chess, not checkers for everybody. So the people behind the curtain, they gotta support. And I know this is not, like I said, chess, not checkers, but you gotta support people as they learn who they are. You can't suppress people. You can't keep on telling people they're not this, they're not that, just because you have answers they don't have. Until they have those answers, they're gonna be fishing around for stuff that may not necessarily be what it is. You know what I mean? That's just a possibility. I don't think that's what we've stumbled upon, though. I think we've stumbled upon a plenty of data and opportunities for us to match things that help us understand the truth that's been hidden. I think a lot of that's been unearthed, and I think people are starting to realize that, and they're starting to strategize around that. And I think that's why we're now able to see people from behind the curtain, so to speak, be able to speak a bit more freely, because it does benefit everybody if the environment is stable. And I do believe that we have an unstable environment when people don't know who they are, man. When people run around not certain of what it is that they ultimately are made up of. And that's what you have in our country with our people. And we find what we find, and we want to unearth it, and we want to see if it's true or not, or we want to declare, or what have you. What we were met with was a stone wall, a human stone wall. And then we were told we were bad guys, and to go away, and to not be disrespectful, and to take these 6 things that you must do to assure that you don't ever disrespect us, and all of that doesn't find us any organic answers to what it is that we're searching. It doesn't find us any closer to believing those we believe who lied to us and anything they have to say. It's a lot of stuff that just further separates people. And so what I wanted to see was LeBron James, a person in the world who brings people together, acknowledge that there is a part of this conversation that he has a responsibility to speak to. And that's because he displays that of black skin. You know, we're black people. We can't rub that off. We can't hide that. We can't billionaire that off our skin. We gonna still display that. We still gonna be that. And when there's a responsibility to that, there's a certain authenticity that should come from within your voice in regards to matters about black people. Because you are a display for the world to see. They ain't gonna see me. You see what I'm saying? They're not gonna get my voice. I'm not gonna be on that podium. And so when he gets up there and he speaks whatever he needs to speak, I would imagine it's important to him that it come from his mouth, especially since he's a powerful entity, especially since he has gifts that God gave him, especially, you know what I mean? It's like, if I walk around and I got all these advantages and I still don't have the right to speak up for whatever it is to the fullness of my ability, then something that I'm due to receive hasn't come my way. And I think that's what LeBron James is starting to realize. Like, yo, for all the power I have, I can't speak up on black people's problems or black people's point of views or whatever. And so what LeBron was able to do up there on that podium was essentially ask a very simple question. The way that he stood up, he essentially said, hey, look, man, I want to ask you guys a question. Why haven't I received a question about Jerry Jones? Y'all asked me about Kyrie, but y'all ain't come to me about Jerry? And see, for me, it's like, you guys know, I took a different approach on the Jerry Jones conversation. I really did. I kind of took the animal approach, so to speak, the C-word approach that a lot of people like to call it. I supported the support of Jerry because I see the bigger picture. It doesn't mean that I think Jerry's any less or better of a guy. I just think that those who are trying to hold him accountable have chosen this moment to do it, and I'm not being distracted by that truth. They can choose whoever they want to choose. I'm still looking at them, and that's the point. It ain't about whether Jerry's a good guy or a bad guy. It's them trying to deflect who we're focusing on. They're trying to make it so that we're not paying attention to Jerry instead of them. We're paying attention to Kanye instead of them. We're paying attention to Kyrie instead of them. We're paying attention to anybody they want to smear. And my thing is, not this time, buddy. 99% of the time in the past, I'd be calling for Jerry Jones to give up his team and all kinds of other stuff. But I know Jerry Jones is being attacked. Just so those who can attack him can stay in power. And I'm not losing my focus. I'm not losing my focus. I'm not going to react to this the way they want me to react to it. I'm free of thought. I'm not reacting to your button pressing. You can call him a racist. You can call me a racist. And I'm not moved by either of it, because I know who I am. And I know you're not telling the truth about who he is. So it don't matter what you're saying. or when you say it. And that's the point. They need to regain credibility if they want us to respect their definitions of racism and hatred and all these different things. Who's most important, who's not. They need to regain the trust of the person here in this camera before I'm believing anything they say about anybody. I don't trust them. So as far as I can tell, Jerry Jones may be a good guy or a bad guy, but the filter in between us telling us who that is needs to be ignored. That is the point. Ain't got nothing to do with Jerry Jones. What I know is they've had that picture of Jerry Jones the whole damn time. That's the bigger picture. Who's the real bad guy? The guy in the picture or the guy who's been holding the picture for 70 years? Looking to blackmail the guy who's in the picture. Possibly take his whole team from him. Possibly use him as a means of distracting the world from what it is that they're doing. Like, I am not moved by their moves. And they prop Jerry Jones out there as a balance piece to show us that they're not only leaning on black people when they want to come down on people. And what I'm saying is, we know that. We've been watching you punish white people for a long time. We know that. We know that. I'm not moved by that. You applying those formulas to white folks doesn't make me feel better at all. At all. So that's what needs to be understood. That's why I took the approach that Stephen A. did. That's why I took the approach that most black folks aren't, because I'm looking at something that I think most black people are going to be looking at very soon. If they keep listening to people who are talking like me, they're going to understand exactly what we're looking at. And they're going to know where to put Jerry Jones in terms of the compartment. You put him in a different compartment than the focus right now. If he's a slimy racist, you throw him in the slimy racist pile, and we'll get to the slimy racist after we deal with the people behind the curtain. Straight up. But as long as they're up here defining who these people are and picking and choosing when they want to expose them and picking and choosing who they want to love and hate and how best to pour their marketing dollars into those promotions, I'm not going to support anything that they're defining in regards to it being what it is that they're saying it is. I'm just going to assume they're lying about it. And that's what it is. So what I wanted to see is for LeBron James to understand, look, this is where the shift is. People like myself are taking their power from them by way of one opinion at a time. We're just looking and saying, no, we don't respect or trust them. Therefore, we're not going to acknowledge them the same way we used to. And people like LeBron James need to understand, like, this is the beginning and end for them. Because the only thing that kept them going was the compliance of the people, and the confusion of the people is to allow them to continue to patronize us with various things that they can, prop up and say, see, you benefit from this. Everybody else doesn't. Be exalted. We're tired of that. We know all they're going to do is turn the tables on us with somebody else's group tomorrow. It's over, man, for that. It's over for all that. Their structure and how it's held together is no longer possible. So people like LeBron James don't need to be afraid to talk anymore. People like Stephen A. Smith don't need to be afraid to talk anymore. Speak up. Speak out. And understand that the foundation from which you're standing on, there's soil underneath that. There's real soil underneath that. You're standing on concrete placed down by those people. That concrete it's not the only thing there. Once you remove that concrete, it's not like the earth is going to fall. No, there's still foundation underneath that, and it's God. It's the very essence of your talent. The thing that was given to you before you even signed the contracts that ultimately tied you to those people. That is your real foundation, and that's ultimately what's going to be remaining after those people behind the curtain have long lost whatever it is that they're holding on to. You're still Shaq. You're still LeBron. You're still Kareem. You know what I'm saying? It's like, they didn't make you. They just made you popular. And that's what it needs to be understood, man. And so people like LeBron James, I want to say I'm proud of him because it's all I really want him to do. Responsibly speak his mind and keep his empire intact. You know what I'm saying? I don't want people to do Kanye. I don't want you to give your enemies ammo. For God's sakes, I'm not praying for Kanye so that he throw away his entire empire and leave his children with only his wife's empire to give them their wealth. His wife's empire, God bless him, I don't know if that's enriched in the greatest of energy. Just to be honest with you. I don't know those people at all, but what I can tell you is they've been dabbling in a lot of stuff, man. And we're seeing some of that right now. With Kim and his Balenciaga and all this different stuff. We're seeing where the rubber meets the road in regards to their family and what it is they've done in regards to how they made their money. I don't know how stable their future actually is based on the way the world gonna change. And so if I'm Kanye West, I don't want them taking my money. I don't want them removing $8 billion or whatever it is from my situation because I got 5 kids that I need to keep wealthy. You know what I'm saying? These are the type of things where I'm like, I don't assume to know what these people are guarding against or what it is they're dealing with. But if I was in a position that they were in, I don't know what I would necessarily do, which is why I feel like people like myself in this position are so important. We're so important because those people, they have to goddamn burn their whole lives down and commit to the worst of traumas in order to just basically liberate all of us. Because that's exactly what the people behind the curtain would put them through. And you guys need to know that I know that. When I sit up here and hold you guys accountable for this, that, and the third, it's like you got to responsibly keep your family safe and keep what you built intact. And there's only one way to do that in a world where they run things. And that's to do things the way that they want you to do them. But you just have to have faith. You got to know when the shift has occurred. You got to know when God has taken over. You got to know when they can't control the way they've been controlling things. And so I think that's where we're at. We're in that space where, yeah, the end of the road for those guys. It's the end of the road. And so I encourage LeBron James to keep speaking freely. Protect your family, you know what I'm saying? Do what you got to do to protect your family while speaking freely, because these people are treacherous. It's obvious. And I say that to anybody else. Kyrie Irving, put your head down, play basketball, keep doing that, man. Everything else is now on the legal side of things at this point. We already know that they've done some things they shouldn't have did in that regard, and now we know what comes with that. It's just energy, baby. That's all it is. You do certain things, you get certain things coming back. It's inevitable. We'll see how it plays out for those who did what they did with Kyrie. But LeBron, he made it right, man. I hope this starts the process of him being able to look in the mirror and being proud of himself the way he needs to be. Look in the mirror and not think that the king moniker is the most important aspect of what it is he presents to the table. Because it's not. It's his person. It's himself. The king is just something they put on him to market him to all of us so that they could turn him into the most lucrative, money-making athlete since Michael Jordan. They did not give him that because they believed he was some amazing leader, or they thought that he was as special of a human being as he actually is. And that's why I don't think he should try to beat King James no more. Not to say that he needs to remove the king from his name, but in terms of trying to keep up with that, trying to chase Kareem, trying the best to revamp the team so it can be better, all of those things work against his legacy. I really believe that. And just like I said at the beginning of the video, when you're living right, you get the best results, man. You start doing things like you did on that podium last night. You do it with the right energy, and I promise you, this team gonna start winning. Them teammates don't start softening up to you. Them fans gonna start softening up to you, and every other aspect of your life gonna start feeling better because you're gonna be living right. I'm telling you, I'm LeBron's age. In fact, I'm 4 months younger than him, and I didn't learn this until basically last year. There are still levels for him to grow. There's still levels for anybody who's 38 years of age to grow. That's what I'm telling you. You're old in basketball, but you're not old in life. And when it comes to basketball, we can't psych ourselves out about that. Meaning, old dog new tricks, that's not a real thing when it comes to sports, that you're this age, because there's still growth in life, and we can apply that growth to what it is that we're doing in life. I did my max on squats yesterday. The most squats I've ever done in my entire life, I did with a 38-year-old body. That's what I'm telling you. We're adding to what we can do now, Bron. We're not done. And so what I'm telling them is, go back to the drawing board in regards to this team. They're better than you think. Look to pass the ball to all these young guys and empower Anthony Davis. Do that, because GOATs do that, man. That is the best possible outcome for the king, is to fall back and be one of the guys, because secure yourself in the notion that you will never truly be one of the guys. But in order to get the most out of your team, you got to be one of the guys, man. And the best way to do that first is to remember what it means to have something to lose in regards to the social stuff. That's what he had lost. You got your life, you got your mansion, you got your wealth, you got everything in place, and you forgot that if you don't stand up for what you need to stand up for, it can start the process of you losing all of those things. And a guy like LeBron James, I think deep down, I think he can see that variable very clear. Another reason why I wanted LeBron James to make the decisions that he made, man, in regards to switching up his point of view on this Kyrie thing and starting to speak a little more about what matters to him for his people. And another reason why I wanted him to sacrifice and become one of the guys for the team is because he has 2 sons who are going to be coming into this league very soon. And I'm not sure what their role is going to be. They may end up on a team with a LeBron James, and they may not be a LeBron James themselves. And he's going to have to be their dad through those situations. And what he's going to have to navigate them through is how to deal with people like him. How to deal with an aura like his. How to stay in the league full of players that have way more cachet than them, who they ain't going to have a whole lot of rope, because if they miss 2 shots, they got to sit down. Who they got to be on the team with a guy who wants to take 17 shots because he's trying to chase LeBron, right? So Bronny ain't going to get the shots. Bronny ain't going to get the minutes. Bronny only got a chance to make 1 or 2 threes, and if he miss them, he's sitting down. Do you see what I'm saying? It doesn't end with you. It always has to be about what you're passing to your kids, because they're going to have a different role in life than you. So while he's sitting here exalting the practice of whatever he's doing as a superstar, he's ushering his kids into a situation where they're going to have to adhere to those practices, where they're going to be at a disadvantage because of it. And so that's why it's important for everybody to play their role. Joe Jellybean Bryant didn't know his son was going to be the biggest star. You know what I'm saying? Dell Curry didn't know his son was going to be the biggest star. You know, it's one of those situations where, and LeBron James may not know that his sons might be role players. You have to help mold the environment for the next generation, because you don't know where your kids are going to be slotted in that world, man. That's my entire point. That's why we can't lean so much on my own group. My black folks, only my black folks. If we were like animals to where we couldn't crossbreed unless we had some type of, help from science, if it wasn't possible for us to be biracial, then that would make sense. But once you start having situations where people are different races together, then they got to pick sides and they got to be a part of different things, and it's in between a war, and it's like, what kind of crap? What are you leaving yourself involved in when you're asking certain people to choose? There's a lot of people who don't have that variable in mind, and when the rubber meets the road, they just don't have an answer. So it's kill them all type of energy, and I'm saying that's not a solution at all. Once you meet that space where you're asking people who are part of growth groups to pick a side, you have officially broken down what it is that your group is going to be. You can't be strong in that way. There's no way to be strong. You ain't going to know who's who. You're never going to know who's who. And that is why you don't do that. That's why you never do that. That's why you don't exalt yourself and not exalt others, or help others get some of that exhaustion or whatever. Because if you corner yourself into a room, it's just you versus the rest of the world, and you're going to be closed in on. That me against the world crap don't work. I promise you, it don't work. So that's why you ain't gonna never see me saying black only, black us, black. I got Spanish nephews, I got white nieces, brother. I can't do it. It ain't gonna happen. So that's what people need to understand. I ain't never gonna fall all the way onto one side or one nothing. It doesn't work, y'all. You could try it, but eventually you're just gonna find yourself in a situation where it's gonna be fighting. You're just gonna have to fight. It's gonna end with war, because you're not gonna have no compliance when the rubber meets the road. Someone's always somebody's sister, brother, daughter, father, and they're not gonna be honest. That's the bottom line. So that's why it's about just incorporating everybody into the situation and letting everybody understand that everybody does matter, even though we don't say all lives matter because it has such a derogatory turn. Everyone does. And we got to find a way to be secure within our own groups, uphold our own cultures, love ourselves while still not pointing us against everyone else. Because that is definitely manipulated a lot of times. When you do that, yeah, there are going to be people who come in and know exactly how to maneuver you so they can get the most out of what you're doing while you're sitting there pointing yourself against everybody else. So that's why I just want to come up here and say my point of view. That's why I took the Jerry Jones position that I did, because I just know better, man. I know we can never just lean all black and then tell everybody else F you. It's not going to work. You're going to end up having black folks kill you when you do that. That's a fact. So with that being said, we're all in one world. We're all together. And we got to learn how to love each other, find balance for the things that we can't find solutions for organically, and just move on. And it starts with people being honest about how they feel and people being able to say what it is that's truly on their hearts from behind the curtain if they're back there. That's why I'm so very happy LeBron James took his stance, because he is one of the most important people walking the earth wearing black skin today, and we need him to be in history doing the right thing for an example of many people in the future who ain't going to see other people who weren't as famous doing the right thing. They're going to see LeBron James' press conference, though. They're going to see that for a million years. And that is why I need him to continue to stand for what it is he believes in his heart, not for what it is I believe in. Not some cap-ass stuff that has to do with, some blanketed thing that he doesn't really feel, but he's just trying to lean on it because of the money. No, brother, what you really feel is what you really need to do to live right, I think. It can't be for the wrong reasons. And if it's pointed at the wrong reasons, let it be organic to that. You know what I'm saying? If that's where you at, let it be that. But let it be honest. That's all I'm saying. I don't know that we're ever going to get to a point where a guy like Shaq or a guy like LeBron could say, I love my people, I love myself, but I'm afraid to lose everything I have, so I'm just going to stay on this side, and I want you guys to pray for me. That's all I really think the truth actually is. That's what I think the truth actually is. My name is BDF 44. I thank you all for watching. I'm out.